Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk About It. Let's Talk About It. I love this. Okay. This was inspired by Chanel when we were in Texas. So I was like, I just love the vibe. So I'm so excited to be here for another episode. Last week we were joined with Zondra, and this week we're going to be joined with Cortina Jackson, and we're going to be talking about acting. So I'm excited about that. But before we get started, I want to just give a shout out to Kate Thurman and Ari Wells. They are also producers on Keep It Real TV, and they are absent because they've got life happening, right? And so we want to acknowledge them and wish them well. They're out being great, doing all the things that they do. So we definitely want to honor them. So excited about being here today. We were just talking before we went live, because my guest is like, I didn't get any questions. What am I even going to be saying? Because you never know with me. Okay. But I do have some other people that kind of help keep me grounded because I can just get off on tangents, asking all kind of stuff. And, but it's all about being organic and just being yourself. I think that's the one thing. We just like to have a lot of fun. We like to keep it real and talk about real issues in order to inspire other people. So we're excited that you're joining us this evening, all of you all that are watching. We encourage you to engage in the chat, put your questions and comments, even though I'm bad at looking at them while we're recording, but I will go back afterwards and give you a shout out and answer whatever I can. So before we get into today's conversation, I want to introduce myself. I'm Lachelle, also known as America's Supermom, mother of 15 children, and I'm a TV producer on Zondra TV Network. I have my own channel, Keep It Real TV, and I have producers that have joined me on this quest of filling up this channel with lots of great content. So I am going to turn the mic over to Anita for you to introduce yourself.
Still, you always get me, man. You always get me. But I am, look, I'm going to have to stay ready so I don't have to get ready, okay?
Your name
Look,
starts with an A, girl. So you got to always be ready.
can I go with my middle name, Renee? Can we move on down the alphabet line? I just call me Renee tonight.
Is your middle name Renee?
It is.
So is mine.
I thought we did recognize that. Yes.
Mine
yes.
too.
More things to
Mine
come.
too.
Your middle name's Renee?
Yes.
Didn't know.
Stop.
Small world.
Okay, I love this. Too much in common. We got too much in common. Didn't even know it. Isn't that something? Look at God. So I am Anita Newsom, and as Lachelle was just sharing, I am one of the producers on her network, Keep It Real Network. I have You Make a Difference TV, and let me tell you all, tonight I have interviewed two of my speakers from the summit, and I was tired, but I'm ready to look. I'm ready for this juice from Cortina. I was like, girl, get some coffee, get you some energy drink. Look, we about to do this. We about to talk to our girl. Look, I missed her since we left Texas, but that is one of the things I do. I also work with nonprofits and businesses to get grant ready. So that's a whole nother thing for another day. And I also love and have a passion for empowering women to find their voice and their message. From tragedy to triumph is what we do. And I am so honored to be here in the midst of my sisters, my community, my tribe. So thank you so much, Lachelle.
Love it. All right, we're going to go over to you, Chanel. She's frozen or something.
Oh, okay, she's back. Wait, she's back now.
Okay, there you go.
You muted.
You gotta love technology, y'all.
Right.
We can't hear a thing. It's muted. It says muted.
I'm having technical difficulties, Lachelle. Come back. I'm gonna pop in and go back out.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and allow our guest of the honor to introduce herself while we're waiting on Chanel. So, Cortina, please share a little bit about yourself, and we're excited for you to be here.
Thank you so much for having me. It is so wonderful to be amongst such love with other producers from the Zondra
Mhm.
TV Network. And I just consider it an honor and a blessing to be amongst you. I am Cortina Jackson. I am the CEO of Acting Beyond Academy. I'm a TV and film yes, I'm a TV and film producer. I have a talk show on the Zondra TV network that I've produced. I've produced my own movie called Daddy.
Mhm.
I am also the executive producer of the Micro Networks, Survivorizer Network, and Indie Elite Network. And I have another talk show called Elite Talk. So just
Oh,
extraordinary opportunities and wonderful things that God has allowed me to unfold and build through the blessings, complete blessings of others in His will. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
I love that. And I'm excited for all those things that you're doing because what's coming up for me is about expansion. You start out with something and it just continues to grow and multiply. So hearing all those platforms, I just think it's amazing. So I'm
Yes.
excited to dive into how you got started, where you see yourself going. But we're gonna get to that. So while we're waiting on Chanel, we're going to play a quick clip of what's coming up with You Make a Difference TV.
Ooh.
Are you ready to elevate your brand to new heights and make a lasting impact globally? Collaborate with You Make a Difference TV and unlock unparalleled opportunities to reach your audience.
What's coming with me into the new year? What do I want to
engage your community, and make a difference on a global scale? Whether you're a business or nonprofit, our platform provides a unique space to showcase your story.
That special ed wall comes with the food. We definitely will.
Let's embark on a journey together to make a difference in your community and beyond. Join us and shape your future of your brand today. Reach your audience, reach your community, reach the world on You Make a Difference TV. Contact us today by emailing Anita Newson at info@AnitaInTheBizCoach.com or call 769-692-2745.
Awesome. All right. Well, look, I need to do a little bit more editing, okay? Because I'm like, we can still see ourselves on. But God is good. Look, I don't do that kind of stuff. I just get on camera and just run my mouth. Okay. So, bear with me.
Right. It has its own challenges.
I forgot you was gonna do that, but I was like, oh my God, I'm really on
Yeah.
here. Look at God,
know
He's so
that's
good.
right. Well, how did it feel to have a commercial with you?
Girl, it's almost like unreal because a year ago you couldn't have told me I'd be doing this,
Mhm.
but I've spoken into existence, didn't even realize it a couple of years ago, and I was like, I went over some old notes. I was like, oh my God, I wrote down that I was going to have a TV show. I didn't even know it, and look at God, it's just right here in front of us, so it's amazing.
That is awesome. I'm glad. It's amazing. All right. So Chanel, hopefully we can hear you now.
Hopefully so. It's
Yeah.
been technical difficulties. Yeah. Hey, gorgeous. It's been a day. That's all I can say. It's been a day. But I'm so excited to be here. My name is Chanel Coleman Wesley. I am the Empower Her strategist. I assist women and businesses and organizations that pour purposefully, powerfully, and passionately into women. And I'm excited to be on the show with these amazing women.
Well, we are glad that you're here, and we're going to dive right into some conversation. So I'm going to ask the first question, and I have to pass the mic to y'all because I will just be like, and then what? And then what? Forgetting that I got co-hosts, y'all. So I'm gonna already prep y'all and say, hey, I'm asking the first question, and then we're gonna go around and ask other questions. But I love the fact that you are doing so many things through television, and for somebody who is thinking of getting started with television, I love the direction that you have in terms of, not only are you acting, but you're training people to come after you and act, so for somebody who wants to get started, what advice would you give them? Because I think a lot of times we get intimidated by thinking, well, if I'm not doing it as big as she is doing it,
Right.
then I probably shouldn't even get started. You know what I mean? Because you've got a lot of things that you're impacting the world on. So what advice would you give them?
I guess what I would tell people, because there's always the fear. There's always things that come up. Like when I ask people, why wouldn't you want to, what keeps you from acting? And a lot of people are shy. And believe it or not, I'm extremely shy. No one would believe that. No one would believe that. I'm extremely shy and didn't have the money. Didn't have a voice. I actually grew up in a lot of abuse and domestic violence. And so I didn't have a voice. And so it became a new thing for me to be pushed out in the forefront. And especially with a camera in my face, that's all very new. That I had to push past because I knew that I did. And I knew that there was something I wanted to do. When I was a kid, I was directing a thriller in my living room with my cousin. So I was producing Thriller.
I think we all went through that. I love it.
Right. And so I would tell anybody, and it's probably a good way to sum things up as well, that if there's something that you've always wanted to do and just didn't think that you could do, because life is short. And I'll get into that a little bit more. But even in dealing in domestic violence, I was almost killed. I almost lost my life in domestic violence. And I think I do so many things because I told God that, when my life was spared and I had another chance, I said, I'm going to do everything that I've ever wanted to do. Our life is short. COVID took a lot of people, the young, the old, the people who were physically fit, who didn't think that, they fit that, and they are gone today. And so it just shows you you never know. And so many brilliant ideas, brilliant minds, performances are in the graveyard. And so every chance you get, do everything you want to do. If you're living a moment, even one moment in unhappiness, the time is ticking. Each second is ticking by that you're unhappy in a relationship, in a job, in things you wanted to do, things you have a book sitting on the shelf. You've always wanted to do that book. Do it. And so in acting beyond, you're going beyond. You're pushing yourself above the fears, above the setbacks, above the, I don't know if I can do this. You're going beyond and pushing yourself to be the best version of you. And that's exactly what I do. And I love to see it in others. So that's what I celebrate and elevate.
Love that.
Yes. Thank you. That is awesome. So, speaking of the Academy, right, I just really want to know what made you just go ahead and take that step? What made you want to create this kind of platform for people to be able to be educated and learn more about the industry? What was the driving force?
Well, the industry can be it can be a scary place for a lot of people. There's the war story, a lot of the stories of the casting couch and Hollywood and how things go on set and being mistreated sometime, and directors. And I just, on every set I've ever been to, this is very important, I'll actually teach in the course, is that your personality really dictates, the environment. So when I go on every set I've been on, I take the time to get to know people. I'm the jokester. I'm a big time jokester. I'm very funny, and I think I am. So I try to be funny and personable, And that has that's gotten me many roles that I didn't feel like I qualified for. I didn't think I was that great. But sometimes it's not even how great of an actor you are, your personality. And so I wanted people to, to step into this. I watched how extras are treated, and sometimes they're treated like you got to stand over here, and the talent gets first. And I thought, for people who it's new to them, that could be intimidating. That could be. I wanted to build something where people felt positive, and I wanted to give them so many things. They go to these acting schools and acting classes, and now you learn the skills, but you got to find your own roles a lot of times, and you got to book yourself for different things. So I thought I want to have something all inclusive where the out the box, first of all, they get such a positive experience and environment, and they get to, have one-on-ones with me, and they'll have a movie starting out, because that's the next part. Wow, they're telling me I need headshots. They're telling me I need a reel. They're telling me these things. I don't even know what that means. And I wanted to equip them with all of that, plus their first movie, IMDb credit, cut them a reel of their, and then give them a spectacular red carpet experience, so they feel like the star that they already are. You're all people out there. You're already a star. I just get the pleasure of watching it unfold and making sure that you feel positive in that experience and get all that you need to be ready to get out there and do it, to live your dreams.
Oh my God, that is amazing. That is amazing. I know Chanel got some good stuff from all of that, so I know she probably got some questions.
Awesome.
I do. So since we're about to talk about it. All right. So my question to you is simply this. Hearing your story, first of all, I was impacted by it, just resonated with it so well. So I want to know what it's been like for you to regain your own voice. And now, not just have you done that, now you're inspiring others to find their voice as well. What is that like for you?
Oh my goodness. When I tell you it's therapeutic, the reason I do the things I do is because I got out of the domestic violence situation. I was married to a police officer. He tried to kill me. He tried to break my neck. And when he didn't, he went for his gun. I was able to escape. But during that entire marriage, I too was a police officer, and I took on these roles to have this command presence and to feel like I had power. And though I was helping a lot of people, I wasn't that kind of police officer to kick down doors and take names, but I was always the one that was concerned about people and would pull them to the side and get the whole story. I was one of those who truly cared, because I knew I didn't have that voice. So doing all of that, I had my badge, I had my uniform on, I would go to work. I had to stand straight and tall no matter how scared I was. But the minute I would get in my car, I would almost grab the steering wheel and just bury my head in the steering wheel, because I knew when I got home there was no more power, there was no more voice, and I had to change roles quickly. It is pretty much like acting, because it was like acting then, because I had to turn into a completely different person. So really, the police officer that people saw and the it was a mask. It wasn't even the real me. It was me acting like I was brave and I was bold and I could do this, when I knew inside I was so afraid, and I didn't have a voice, and I had to walk on eggshells because and keep it light. So then I had to get myself ready and walk in the house and either be funny for my kids, because I didn't want them to know I was being abused. It was such a hard thing to balance, changing roles quickly. Be funny for the kids, go in the bedroom still smiling, close the door and he's there. And then I had to get into that role. And then, trying to keep myself quiet so the kids didn't know. And then I would have to emerge from the room happy. Okay, guys, we're going to a hotel. And they're like, well, why? Why are we going to a hotel? It's mom and son night. Get your clothes, get your bags. We're about to have a camping trip. And, and just always a different role my entire life. And so having the opportunity, when I did when I was released and I was able to be, I got away from the abuse. I lived by myself for the first time. And I remember I walked into my apartment. I didn't have furniture. And I shut the door and the echo, I said, hello. And it echoed. I said, I'm free. And it echoed, I'm free. I'm free. And that's when I knew I had a voice. I had a voice. And it was just me. And then someone gave me a shot. I had a book I wrote during the abuse. I had a book, and someone chose to have me on. They did a editorial about it and did a write up in California and gave me the opportunity to speak. And when they asked me, what do I like? What do you do? I didn't even know how to answer that because it was always what he liked and what I had to do. And so I was like, I like to write. I like to act. It was almost like, like you're trying to convince yourself. I like to do these things. And I would love to someday, inspire someone else. And so I wrote those things down. Even though I had to muster them out and make myself say them, I had to write them down. And everything that I wrote down happened for me. Every single thing. I hadn't acted before. I had not spoke before. I just wrote it down. And I actually wrote down, one day I want to have a talk show. I want to be like Oprah someday and have a talk show. And then so when things started unfolding, the more they unfolded, the more I was like this worked. That works. I can't believe that worked. I would write something down. Lord, I don't have enough money for gas. And I don't know how it's going to be made, but I'm going to have gas in my car. And my sister would send $40. Hey, just thinking about you. Always. And it's gone that way since 2018. I was going to take my life because it just didn't seem like things were coming together. From 2018 to this day, right now, consistently, everything that I say I'm going to do, I have done and I continue to do. So having that voice, it's huge. It is blessed. It's therapeutic, and it lets me see every person who feels like they can't, or their voice is hidden, or someone told them that they couldn't do it. I get to be that voice that if people have followed the journey, know, yes, it's right here. You're already the star. You're already somebody. It's time to let it unfold. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. You had me at the writing it down because that has been transformational in my life. And, for people who are watching and they're thinking, well, I just think that I can talk about it, and it just can happen, explain to them like how you got started with the writing, because I think for some people, they think, like, I love what you said, hey, I'm gonna have gas in my car. It's everyday stuff, that we could be writing down. But for some people, they're thinking, oh, what am I supposed to be writing? So talk a little bit about that.
Oh, gosh. This is what set the stage for me, you all. This is what set the stage. The day I was going to take my life, I thought I sat here sulking and just depressed. And why would someone treat me like that? And I've been abused. Now I got to start over. I don't have nothing. I was about to take my life. Actually, I went out on my balcony. I already put a rope in my closet. I made sure it was secure and could hold my weight. And so the plan was, I made a cup of coffee. And my plan was to go on the balcony and make a video. Basically, in the video, I was telling people, encouraging, if you're in an abusive situation, here I am. I'm starting my life all over again with nothing. I just began to pour out my life to people on Facebook. And it wasn't people. I was in a domestic violence Facebook group that I thought was private. And so when I made the video and hit send, I didn't realize how Facebook worked. It was a public group and everybody saw it. My family, friends, people saw it. So I made the video. I came back in and then I sat on the couch. I was about to do it. And just as I was about to do it, my phone began to ding and chime. Ding, ding. So I sat back down and I looked at my phone and people were like, oh my goodness, you don't know this about me, but I am going through abuse now. What do I do? So I thought, oh my goodness, let me start answering people. So I started like answering people all day, you all. I did that all day until and a lady said, hey, I want to take you to dinner. I didn't have any money. I'd already had plans of, I don't have money right now. I'm about to end it anyway. It doesn't matter. She said, come with me out to eat. And I said, okay, I'll be there. Let me finish answering these texts. Until I got through all of that, and I was thinking, I'm too tired. I forgot to kill myself. I forgot. I was supposed to be doing that. And in that moment, I told God, I looked up, I said, God, if you don't help me, I'm going to die. And that's it. I said, so one day, this isn't me in my arrogance. One day, God, I'm gonna be grateful and I'm gonna be positive, and that's all. I'm just gonna give it one day. I'm 100% positive. I said, and I'm gonna write down. I'm gonna write down everything I was grateful for one day. And so I went to dinner. I came back and I started a journal. I found one of my old journals and I began to write. Today I am grateful for. And then I started writing things down. I'm grateful because I got out of bed and I walked to the bathroom. I got legs. I was sarcastic at first. I have legs to walk. Grateful. And I went to work. I said, I'm not going to be late today. This day is going to be wonderful. I wouldn't even say that. I'm not going to be late. I just said everything positive. I will be on time for work. Work is going to be amazing. I'm going to have a great day. And I wrote those things down. And when I got to work, it wasn't that the job changed. Nothing changed, but my attitude about that day changed. And when I tell you, when I got to work, I started writing down things I would have loved to happen in my life. Had I not killed myself, this is what I would have wanted to happen for me. I would love to act someday. I would love to do speaking engagements and encourage people. One day I'm going to have a talk show. One day I'm going to do this. Well, I just wrote all day. I made a list of 20 things that I would want to happen for me. And 5 days later, that one day I went home and I was like, okay, I gave it one day. And I thought, okay, I'll do this again tomorrow. And I just kept doing it. By day 5, I had a speaking engagement. By day 5, every time something positive happened, that's when I was like, oh, wow. I had, my tires were bald. They were like, you could see them. I wrote, I don't have any tires and I don't know how I'm going to get those tires replaced. My dad did a pop-up visit. And when he did, he looked at my tires, he said, you need tires, and bought me 4 brand new tires that he didn't even, things began to happen. They were little things. But when they did, then I would write it the next day. I am grateful I got new tires today. Can't believe it. Today was a good day at work. No one gave me trouble. So I would just kept that going and going. And the more that happened, the more grateful I became. The more grateful I became, the more I was blessed with more things. And it still happens today. So when I got my first movie role, I was like, I've never acted before. I don't even know how to act. All these people were professional and I got the role. And then that person said, hey, do you want to be on this other movie? And I was thinking, I don't know how to act. I don't really know how to do that. They were telling me the things. Do you have a headshot? Do you have? And I was thinking, no. Oh, well, it's cool. Just come. And I did. I can't even. I don't even know how many movies I've done so far and commercials. And now, I just get people just call and say, "Hey, I got a role. I want you to be in the movie." Like it just continues to happen for me. And it's just been a blessing when you write it down and make it plain. The Bible even says, when you do that, then you are already putting it in the atmosphere that this is gonna, like we say, the world don't revolve around you, but it does. Because when you make up in your mind, I am going to do this. I don't know what it's, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care that I don't have money. I don't have the talent for it. I've never done it. If I say I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna write it down, and I believe that, your thought is your biggest. Oh, if you can think it and believe it and walk away from it. Don't think, well, I want this job, but I'm not qualified. You just, I'm going to get that. It happens. It's just the law. It just happens. And so that's the importance. Write it down. Write it down.
That's good stuff.
Whatever you put your mind, I'm still doing it. It's just a blessing. It is.
I love all of that. I know, Lachelle, we are short on time, so I don't know if you're gonna give us a couple of more minutes.
I just cannot
minutes went by
believe it.
fast, didn't it? Didn't it go by
It goes
fast?
so fast.
I got all these questions I want to ask, right? But look, because I wanted to ask about Mommy's Perfect Match. You know, does that go with some of the things you went through? But look, I definitely want us to be able to talk about just a little bit, if she give us a little bit more time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The opportunity of being on Zondra TV Network and being a part of something like that, you know, that's so phenomenal of what she's doing, especially as a woman, you know, in this industry. What has it been like to be a part of such an awesome community and network?
Oh God. Zondra has the most beautiful soul I have ever met. You don't see that in people. You see people and they're one way, social media, because you put your best foot forward on social media and present what you want people to see. I followed Zondra a long time, long before when I was actually going through a lot of this, and she was one of the first persons I saw her on something, and I thought, she seems like an important woman. She seems like, and so I would follow her. I would follow her post that she would put out. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to meet her. She's like up here. I'll never meet. She was like Oprah. You'll never get to meet Oprah unless you. In my mind, she was like the Oprah that I could. She was untouchable. And so when I finally got to connect with Zondra, she treated me like I was somebody. I thought at the time I was nobody. I was down here, and she never treats anyone like that. Her heart is gold. The thing she does to make sure people shine is the type of heart that I have, the type of heart I've already seen you ladies. To have that and have that support system and love is just the most beautiful thing that has ever happened in my life. This has been nothing short of amazing, because all my dreams are now coming true. And she makes sure that we shine. When you have an idea, she's like, well, okay, well, let's, Zondra, well, let's do it. What are we waiting on? And you don't get the liberty of saying, well, wait a minute, I was just presenting that. She's like, let's go. I love it. She's been a complete blessing, because I'm connected with the most amazing producers who have just the hearts of gold. And it's a beautiful thing when we all come together. We all feel the same way. We want to see each other shine and rise, and everybody is supportive. You cannot help but win. You can't help but win. So I thank her. I love her dearly. I love what she's built. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. And she tries to take that off of our back so that she can, that we don't have to go through what she has been through to build this. That's a blessing. That's a complete blessing. I love it.
I love that. Totally agree. I mean, you're taking the words right out of my mouth, because I totally feel the same way. I think, you just don't find that every day. Somebody that really embodies, their brand, and, they are concerned about the people first. Right. Yes. So that's the thing that I enjoy. One of the things that I just wanted to ask, and I don't know, Chanel may have a question, is about your voice, because I resonated with not having a voice and feeling like Zondra is watching us now. Hey, Zondra, your ears must have been burning because we was just talking about you.
Yes.
But when you're coming back and trying to find that voice, what advice would you give somebody? Because it's hard to trust other
Yeah.
people. It's hard to think positively, when you've kind of been on a negative cycle or loop. So what advice would you give somebody about that?
Yes, so true. There's just so much out there, and I've had my share of people that I thought I could trust, and after coming from abuse and coming from an untrustworthy environment, and just that toxic environment, you have up walls like you can't get behind this wall. You can only get so close, to me at the time, it took me a long time to lower those walls to trust again. But my advice to people, of course, is discernment. And I know sometimes we don't have that. I didn't even trust myself to make good decisions because I thought I couldn't make a decision with picking a husband. I thought this was so I don't have what it takes to make great decisions, but the people who are prayerful, as you pray and get to watch a person's fruit, and you begin to watch them and listen to them. And if something isn't right, if something don't seem right, then sometimes take inventory, because, we sometimes it's good if there are already red flags to you and you kind of push beyond that. A lot of times I've been burned because I thought, well, maybe, your first thought is sometimes something to be trusted. And so in moving forward, test these things, walk into them with discernment, walk into them with prayer. If there are people who aren't prayerful, or, they don't believe in God, the way that you would trust others is, kind of watching their fruit and watching how they move and operate. And if it's something that you don't agree with, or that's something to take a deeper dive into. And so that's, even in watching Zondra, like I said, I've watched her a long time. Her message was the same always. And then getting a chance to know her, I began to learn her deeper, and get closer and listen to her, listen how she operated and moved. And okay, that I'm trusting a little bit more. Okay, I don't know. Let me not give her all my heart yet. Let me not give these people my heart yet. I don't know. And we do that because we're like, you're in and out. I don't know. And that's natural. That's very natural, especially people who have been burned many times before. And so now, for me, I'm very prayerful. I'm very watchful, and I don't take a lot in. I'm very open. People know I'm very kind, but I'm also very watchful, and try to be wise in those decisions. So definitely do that. Definitely do that. Trust your instinct. Trust your discernment. And it's okay to test some things out and ask questions for sure.
Love that. I got a million questions. I'm gonna ask one more. But about forgiving yourself, this was my thing, right? We can blame other people, and it's easier to look outside ourselves and blame them, and have this thing about forgiving other people. But I found that when I was able to forgive myself, that's when everything changed. So for people that are kind of going through that, the shame, the guilt about their story, what would you tell them about forgiving themselves?
Oh gosh, that's the hardest part. As a matter of fact, I could forgive the people who abused me before I could even forgive myself. No one hated me more than I hated me. I downed myself. I used to always make fun of myself. I always, especially for my kids, when I would be funny, oh, your old fat mama. It was a defense mechanism that I'm going to do it to me before anybody else does. So before you can call me ugly or fat, I'm going to go ahead and say that about myself. And I got so used to doing that, it just came natural to down myself all the time. Always, always down myself. Let me get this old fat body up. Just all, and why do you do that? Why do you do that? And I realized, after the abuse, I looked in my mirror and thought, I hate myself. I hate me. I make horrible decisions. No one cares. I did. I put myself in this situation. So then there was a period of blame game. Well, all of this happened because of me. It's my fault. If I hadn't done that, if I hadn't been in the wrong place, if I hadn't gone out on that date, this wouldn't have happened to me. If, just all these things. And so when I was asking God to forgive me, he said, there's somebody you have not forgiven. And I was thinking everybody, well, God, I forgive them. I'm trying to move on and progress. He said, you have not forgiven yourself. And I had to take a long look at the mirror and forgive myself. And that was the most freeing moment. That's when my mask came off. I always wore a clown mask. I always do the bright smile and the happy. I was so good at acting before I could even act. So good at putting on that persona that to peel that off and look at me, I thought, but the real me is not confident, and the real me is not pretty, and the real me doesn't know anything. And I had to forgive myself and really tell myself, but I love me, and I have to love it took a while for me to forgive me, but boy, when I did, it seemed like that's when things really, it felt lighter, and I no longer had to fake it or pretend to be happy or get out there and smile for the people and put on a show. It was genuine, and people could tell. I didn't think they could tell. I didn't know they could see a mask. But even my son said, Mom, we knew every time you were being super funny, we knew, we saw the bruises and we saw the cuts and we heard you cry. And then when you come out trying to be a comedian, we always knew. We always knew. And so when you are able to peel that off and say, you know what, I forgive me and I love me, and God is pruning me and God is building me back up to make me the woman I am, and then you begin to embrace that, it's like you see another person. You look in the mirror and think, is that me? Well, wow, that's me? And it's beautiful. It's hard, but it's so freeing. And I just urge people to definitely start, even if you don't believe it, look in the mirror and say, I love you. They say if you look up and if you look up and say something, something positive, it brings a smile. If you look down, so now I used to look up, and I would look up, and then I'd look in the mirror and say, you cute. You're all right. And I just kept, all right. And you just keep doing it and doing it and love yourself. It's our hardest thing, People just do that. People always find fault in themselves, but say something positive. Look up and say, you know what? I'm happy to be here. Even if you don't mean it, keep saying, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be living. I have a purpose. I have a purpose. There's something I'm supposed to do. I want to live in my purpose. I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I am happy. I am, it goes from I want to, I wish I could, to I am going to do that. I'm going to do that. I am great. And now every morning I always say, I'm a woman of honor, power, and wealth. When I have two nickels to rub together, I always say, I am a woman of honor, power, and wealth. I say it every day. And I walk it and I talk it and I live it. And I take my nickels and rub them together and go buy a cup of coffee. And I say, I am a woman of honor, power, and wealth. You just begin to feel it, and you become what you say. Whatever you say, that is exactly what it is. Never speak negative about yourself. Never. It's hard. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on,
Chanel, did you
Chanel.
have
I know you got something. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to ask this question. First of all, I want to say to you, Cortina, thank you for being transparent and having this naked conversation with us on today. And I just want to say that, sis, I celebrate you. I see you. You are overcoming limiting mindsets and beliefs, exercising faith over fear. And I love your story where you're embracing going from tragedy to triumph. And so I really want to know, there are people who may be interested in taking those next steps with you in the Active Beyond Academy, and maybe they're, experiencing some doubts. Maybe they're having some moments where they're second guessing their decisions. So I really wanted you to take a moment to kind of speak to them to help them to overcome whatever limiting beliefs that they may have, or doubts or fears that are kind of keeping them from taking that next move.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, yes, absolutely. So yeah, some of those fears that come up, and I'm too old, or I'm shy, or I don't like the camera. Some of those things we definitely in this acting academy we want to dispel, because those, and I relate to those because those are some of the things that I felt about acting, or that a camera was in my face, especially when I didn't even know how to talk for myself. This academy offers so much more than just acting, but it really teaches you to about yourself. And as you celebrate this elevation in your life, we do so in such a positive way, because I'm also a motivational speaker. And so I not only give the tips for acting, but ways of life that can transcend beyond acting. You have to talk to people in the workforce when you can't even ask for a raise, and you don't, it teaches so much more about you and the power of you. And so with that type of confidence, there's nothing you cannot achieve. And so the first thing we do in the academy is dispel a lot of those myths that I'm too old. I think there was a woman in Black Panther. I think the older lady was her first time acting in her 70s or 80s. It was her very first role. And I think of Gabor Sidibe. I believe she went to an audition with a friend, and she was just sitting there and was discovered. And boom, now look at her. So the fact that, oh, I don't look right, I'm not camera ready, I'm shy, I don't have this and that. I wanted to make it so so supportive, so positive, that you get more than just acting classes. You learn how to audition, you learn how to speak, you learn how to love yourself. Some of these things that are key and fundamental from just being who you are, because acting is an art form. You get to take people on a journey. And so when you understand your own journey, you're able to go on other journeys. And just this academy is so packed with things that you just wouldn't get anywhere else. Where else will you get that opportunity to go right into acting and have a movie role right out the box, have your reel, have your headshots, have the TV production experience, and actually come to the Dallas area to film your movie and have this experience? Because I want every person to feel like a star from the moment they're in the academy until they get their first Oscar. I want them to know that they are a star here, and they will be treated as such, and in this warm and positive environment. So I'm just excited about doing this academy for first timers who've always wanted to. They don't even know where to start, where to go. Right here, because you're going to get the best, utmost treatment from not only me, the support of Zondra, the support of all the producers alone is just an experience of its own, because the support is tremendous in this family. And we don't just keep it here. Our love radiates, and we're seen. We are being seen, and we are being heard. We are everywhere because our love has transcended above and beyond a network. We're a family, and we care about the people that we are impacting. We care. So we care over here. And so in this academy, we care.
I love it. I mean, we just don't have enough time. This is
I'm
really
telling you.
This has been a dynamic conversation. And just your story is so inspiring because there are many people that suffer in silence with a lot of these issues. And so, again, I do agree with Chanel. It is a blessing for you to be transparent about your story. I believe that when we're transparent, that's when people can see us and we can see them. Because again, we all have a period of sometimes hiding behind the mask. But when people are transparent, it's like, uh-oh, I'm being seen. You know what I'm saying? They may not say it, but we know ourselves. It's like, you go to church and it's like the pastor's preaching that, was he in my car on the way here? So I love everything that you've said. So we definitely would love for you to share your any final thoughts that you have and how people can get a hold of you for this acting academy.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, my final notes are, not even about me, but always about someone else, because I always love to talk about others. So if you have a story, if you have a gift, if you have something that you wanted to do, just remember, kind of what I said earlier. Time is short. You don't know when it is your last. Do everything as if it is your last. Don't keep going to work saying, I hate my job. I hate this. This relationship is this. Because it's so short. Do everything that you have always aspired to do or wanted to do or thought about doing. Make sure you do that. Make sure that you start moving towards doing what you want to do. Tell your story. And so I have tried to build networks and opportunities where people, if you have a story, if you have a business, if you have a beauty shop, if you have whatever, I want to create different networks and platforms in which you can shine, because I believe, I went through a lot, and thank God it's not all. I don't think it was for me. It's so that I could make sure that the next person behind me could know. They could know and see, wow, it does work. It can be okay. No, I didn't hit the lotto and they said, oh, she got it because she hit the lotto, or she was born with a silver spoon. They could see the journey. And so in following my, even what I've been through, to let people know you can do this. So you can get a hold of me at CortinaJackson.com. And on my website, you will see I have tons of things. I have the Survivorizer Network for podcasts. If you have a true crime podcast, mystery, thrillers, anything that empowers people, inspires people, or creates safety. This true crime is a big business because I've worked in law enforcement and criminal justice for over 25 years. As a police officer, I've been a correctional officer. I worked in parole. I've worked with sex offenders. I've worked with serial killers. I've done it all in criminal justice. And so I wanted a network where if you have a podcast and you talk about some of these things, people want to hear it. If you have audio and video, you want to be on Survivorizer Network and get your podcast seen and heard. And I also have a network for indie film. Since I have written and directed my own movie, Daddy, wrote, directed, produced, starred in. Now I want to create that opportunity for indie films. If you need distribution, because YouTube has standards and Tubi has standards and Amazon, and it's great when it's great, but I researched it. There are over 40,000 movies on Tubi alone. And so if you want a place for your indie film, you can't get distribution there. You don't meet the standards. You don't come over here. We are the home of positive programming. So if you have something positive to share and you want distribution and be seen on Roku, Amazon, Apple, and on demand, then you want to be on Indie Elite. I have 2 talk shows. I have Caught on the Hook, where I talk to people who've been through circumstances that would set them back. You want to be on Caught on the Hook, because then we want to see how you turn something so tragic and negative into something positive. And then my talk show, Elite Talk, is solely for a person to just talk about themselves. What do you do? And use that as another piece to your marketing and sponsorship, and get the word out about who you are, what your story is, what your business is, your book, anything will be on Elite Talk. And then I'm a motivational speaker. So everything, you could go to CortinaJackson.com. Also, please go to Zondra TV Network, where you'll see not only my talk show, all these wonderful producers who also have micro networks and shows, you lovely ladies. And then there's a section there for movies. Go watch Daddy. It's the movie based upon my own life. It is based on true events. And so I acted it along with a good friend, Theo Bray, who directed it as well. Watch Daddy. Support. Become a part of the Acting Academy. We have an informational session March 27th, 6 p.m. It's only 30 minutes, y'all. And I talk about in depth what these offerings and services are in this academy. You don't want to miss. Speaking, make sure you catch me on Laquita's. I have an interview with Laquita coming up for the media bus tour. Be on the bus. Get on that bus. We're going to go from Dallas to Killeen. We're going to be on the bus. There's going to be fun, games, and then all of us lovely ladies giving some of the tips about making people successful. That's coming up in May. Oh gosh, going to Africa, just so many different things, y'all. It's just
I love it.
Woo!
You see what I'm saying? This is why visibility is important, because you want to get with people that help you get your brand out there. So I love everything you've said. And that is true. We do have a TV media tour May 30th and 31st. So if you want some information, it is the banner down at the bottom. And then we also have a informational meeting about micro networks. If you have a group of content creators that you want to connect with to have your own platform in order to expand your reach and impact, then we have that meeting tomorrow, and we'll put that information in the thread. But thank you so much, Cortina, for being here. And I just really have loved it. I was taking a few notes over here down at the right here when I was trying to be slick about it. You know, you always got to have a pen. I'm just saying, people say some good stuff. So Anita and Chanel, want to go to you guys for your final thoughts before we're out of here. Go ahead.
Again, Michelle, thanks so much for creating this amazing platform. Cortina, it was amazing connecting with you. Seeing you again. It was a pleasure to meet you in the flesh, and I'm just again humbled, just so impacted by your story. I want to say, keep going, sis. I see you, and I hope to see you at the top. Anita?
Thank you, Chanel, and thank you, Lachelle, for this awesome opportunity to offer to all of us, and Cortina. Girl, I knew it was a reason we connected, and I am looking forward to continuing the relationship. Thank you so much for being so authentic and open. You know, I related so much to that, and I just, you know, thank God for people like you that are empowering women. This is Women History Month, and you, my friend, are making history. So I appreciate everything that you're doing, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you.
I love that. And I totally agree. Making history, y'all. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I love y'all so much.
Amen.
I'm honored. Thank you.
We love you.
Thank
too.
you.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, this isn't going to be the last, because I'm thinking domestic violence. We got Domestic Violence Month. We need to come up with something for that. You know, my wheels are turning.
Yes. Yes. You got to encourage the people.
Amen. So we definitely will do that again. So we want to thank y'all for watching tonight. This has just been a wonderful conversation. We didn't know where we were going to go, you know, but Cortina is just amazing. She did a great job. And, you know, I have notes. I'm inspired. And I just think it was a wonderful time today. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. Even after the event, if you're listening to the replay, because we definitely will connect with you and get more information to you about whatever you're curious about. Look up the Acting Academy. Don't just be a spectator. Come to the informational meeting so that you can make an informed decision. A lot of times we say, oh, that's too much, or I don't know anything about it, without even getting all the information. Get the information first and then make your decision. So we definitely want to highlight that. Esther, Faith, who joined, thank you so much for watching and your comments. We appreciate it. And Zondra, we love you. Thank you so much for supporting us in all that we do. You are simply amazing, a great mentor and fearless leader that we are all honored to work with. So everybody have an amazing evening, and we'll see y'all on the next episode. Bye.